Welcome back to Rowdy Sports. This is Peach. Going over the third day of knockouts, right? Yeah. Day 3 of the knockouts and day 4 preview of the knockouts. A pretty cool day. Predictions went as planned. Norway 2-1 to Ivory Coast. Norway won. France, Sweden 3-0 to France. Which was kind of a bummer. I really wanted to see Gyökeres get on the score sheet, but it was a really good fight between him and Sleep. We'll get into them in a minute. Mexico versus Ecuador, 2-0 Mexico. Start with Norway and Ivory Coast. What a game. Nusa's first goal was sensational, and the second goal was like a tap-in for Holland. But that equalizer, the assist from Pepe, and the goal from Ahmad. Now, literally every player minus Nusa, I named yesterday, and all of them hit, which is great. I mean, if you were betting on these people, then it was great, which I was. So, I mean, $5 goes a long way in those situations with that many people at the same time. These are players that you really need to look at. Mbappe, and then in the next game, France, Sweden. France smoked Sweden. Mbappe with an insane goal, might be goal of the tournament. Barcola with a great goal, and then Mbappe to finish it off again. Honestly, my man of the match performance, while Mbappe scored 2, Elise was running the show, was absolutely running the show, and he was incredible to watch on top of it. France are probably going to win the World Cup. It's you're not even getting good money odds on it. Like if you bet $20, you make $20.10. You know what I mean? It's even money. Mexico versus Ecuador. Jimenez on the score sheet. Quinoa is on the score sheet. I said both their names. I don't know why people aren't listening to me. I wish more people would, because people would be rich by now. Oh. Ecuador really, maybe they didn't get any sleep because of all the fireworks. Hincapié, red card at the end because he covered his mouth and said something to a player, and then obviously the Mexico player fucking freaked out because he covered his mouth. 96th minute acting that way, 95th minute, whatever. Just can't happen. That red card was so foolish. Kills a lot of fantasy lineups. Hincapié had a good game. Just unfortunate for Ecuador there. I mean, they were playing in the gauntlet. They were in Mexico City. There was no shot. They had the lowest odds. All right, moving on to next day of knockouts. We got England versus DR Congo, Belgium versus Senegal, and the USA versus Bosnia. All right. I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 3 times. Every time DR Congo has played, I said, look at Wissa. Wissa has now been the best player in a team that was otherwise not thought to be. No one thought that DR Congo was making it to the knockouts. Here they are playing England. Do I think they're going to win? No, I do not. Do I think Wissa might get a goal? Yeah, England falls asleep at the back, and Wissa's the kind of player that can dominate on that. Would I bet on a shot on target? For sure. For sure. Do I think that the DR Congo are going to score? I think England are going to really just get a goal and then just park it. You know what I mean? Players that I'm looking at are Kane, Bellingham, and Saka. Saka's a hard bet because he has to deal with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and Wan-Bissaka has had some good and some bad matches against him. Marcus Rashford might be a sneaky bet in fantasy, but all these players are going to be so expensive. This is like a game to miss on fantasy because DraftKings Sports is just going to get all the numbers wrong. They're just going to get them all wrong. They've been getting them all wrong all tournament, and it's kind of really unfortunate. It's you have 10 players that are over 10K, or over 9K in a fucking lineup, or at least 5 players that are over 9K. Declan Rice is probably going to get the most corners and set pieces Like, he's going to get an insane amount of set piece action in this game. So in fantasy, if you are playing, that's the person that I'm looking at the most. Period. Him and Wissa. I think if Wissa's still under 6K, you just buy him and put him in your lineup because he'll get 10 points. He will. I'm pretty faithful in that. Moving on. Oh, right. Score line. I'm going to say England win 2-1. 2-1. And it's going to be a real, like, on the edge of our seats kind of 2-1. They might go into overtime at 1-1 kind of energy. Moving on to Belgium versus Senegal. And I've been saying it. I've said it once. I've said it twice. I've said it 3 times now. Bet on Sarr. Sarr is getting a goal against this Belgium side. I have faith in that. I will bet the over on Sarr goal, single goal, like a 0.5 over. I will bet that. This Belgium side, especially in the defense, has looked wishy-washy. You know, they gave up a goal to Egypt. They couldn't score against Iran. And then they ran riot on Australia. Well, Senegal ain't no fucking slouches, all right? They have put in goals in every single game. They lost to France and Norway, to be expected, but then they beat Egypt 5-0. Or they beat Iraq 5-0. So you can just see that they may get a goal here. At least a goal, you know? Like, this Belgium side doesn't have as good of a defense as France, and they're not dealing with someone as deadly as Erling Haaland. So, I mean, Lukaku is good, and he definitely got his shit together in the last game, but he wasn't playing to his, you know, super heights. And Trossard's on fire. De Bruyne is starting to get his feet back underneath him. I mean, he played like no games for Napoli last season. Like, now he's coming in fresh to the Belgium squad. So you know, maybe he gets his head in the game on this one, because he's gonna have to. He's gonna have to deal with a really difficult midfield. I mean, it's just gonna be Pape Gueye and Idrissa Gana Gueye are gonna be giving De Bruyne the hardest time of his life tomorrow. Who am I looking at the most here? Probably Jeremy Doku. I think Doku has like probably the easier of the. I'm between Doku and Trossard, right? It depends on who's really getting forward between Dida and Diouf. And I think that Dida is probably going to get forward more than Diouf is. And I think that Doku is a better shout for a goal or assist. Definitely get shots on target. Either way, I'm betting this is going to penalties. I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-2 draw, and it's going to go to penalties, and Belgium win on pens. Do I like that? No, I'd rather Senegal win, to be completely honest. I think they've been a more fun team to watch. Do I think they're going to win? I think Belgium has just a little bit more. You know what I mean? Sadio Mane has come into his old age. I guess, you know, you could say that about De Bruyne and Lukaku. If CDK, Charles de Candelare, is starting at striker, I'd almost say that Senegal will win. Because if Lukaku has to come off the bench and try to win it back for them, they're going to lose, period. He doesn't have that in him, and we saw that. So let's say 2-2 to pens. Belgium win if Lukaku starts. I'm going to say 3-2 to Senegal if he doesn't start. That'd be crazy. All right, USA versus Bosnia. And I'm going to just go off the cut and say that USA win 3-1 here. And you might be saying, well, who are they going to give up a goal to? And I'm going to tell you, I have no fucking clue who's going to get a goal for Bosnia, to be completely honest. But USA just have that in them. They just like get up and they lead, and then they just give one away. And I think this is like going to be a perfect example of that. And Poch is probably going to lose his mind when we give it away. Players I'm looking at probably are Pulisic and Balogun the most for prop bets, but Serginho Dest is someone I'm looking at in fantasy because you can get him in your defensive spot, but he plays this like floating winger that Poch just like puts him on the front line. So It's a really good fantasy buy. If McKinney is still under 6K, you should buy him. I mean, he's putting up 10 points per fantasy game, but he's not worth more than like a Declan Rice. You know what I mean? Like, he's a good buy down if you can buy down on him. Otherwise, I wouldn't. The problem is that Bosnia are going to play like this, almost like 6 at the back kind of energy, because that's exactly what they do. I know that it's set. I know that they're lined up as a 4-4-2, but really it's like a 6-2-1-1. And that's how they've played the whole tournament, is that they are like, okay, well, if you're going to attack us, we're going to defend everything. And their games kind of reflect that, you know, through not like their last 5 games. They've lost 1, drew 3, and won 1. They beat Qatar, which was their last game. Before that, they lost to Sweden, which was a 4-1 loss, which is unheard of for them to give up that many goals. Then they drew to Canada 1-1. Before that, they drew to, is it Uruguay? Panama. They drew to Panama. Sorry, mixed the flags up. They drew to Panama 1-1. And they drew 0-0 to North Macedonia. I think that the U.S. has better attack than most of the teams they've faced so far, but let's not discount the fact that they're going to play 6 players, at least minimum, in that back line when the USA have the ball. When they're in attack, it might kind of shift to a 4-4-2, but I'm going to say that they don't have more than 40% of the ball this game. And it's going to be a long one. Do I think the USA can really get to a 3-1? I mean, maybe. I think it might be lower than that. It might either be a 2-0 or a 1-0 if we just see Bosnia parking the bus for the entire game. If the USA score early, and I mean within the first 15 minutes of the game, then we're on for it. But if there's no goals by the half, it's going to go to a 1-0. They're not going to be a shootout. Am I looking at a lot of players here? Maybe Florian Balogun to get a goal, but 6 at the back is ruthless. In America, this is a true test to see the Americans fight. If they can beat down the 11 dudes that are going to be behind the ball at all times, and the 6 people that are sitting in defense, period, at all times, then they have a chance to move on further within this tournament. But it's going to be a tough fight, to say the least. All right, we're picking our favorite players for tomorrow's in each game, In the England versus DR Congo game, I'm betting Johan Wissa with an over on shots on target. I'm getting a bet at least of 1 on. So on the 0.5, I'll bet the 1. I'll bet the over. In the Senegal versus Belgium game, spicy bet, I'm betting Sarr with a goal. In the USA versus Bosnia game, Serginho Dest for 2 shots. Doesn't matter if they're on target. So 1.5 over. I'm betting the over. Those are interesting bets. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. And